Well, we continue on with Iliad Book 6, and we were up to the top of the page here. And remember, in the story, Bellerophon and Diomedes have met on the battlefield. They've exchanged information about their respective families and family histories, and then they realise that they're guest friends of one another, and they decide not to fight. And having said that, they say, there are many Trojans and their famous allies for me, to kill, Honke, whomever the god. In fact, pore is a subjunctive, and after this indefinite whomever, there's a verb eporen. This is the aorist subjunctive, but there is a later verb porisdo, which is connected with, but you just get this por aorist root in Homer. So whomever the god might provide, and kikaio is from kikano, which is a verb we have seen before, kikano, in later Greek kinkano. This is the aorist subjunctive, so it's just got the stem and then we get a lengthening of the vowel and then omega, so this is an aorist subjunctive. And whom I might, well, kinkano means to find, but in this sense it also has the meaning of catch up with, overtake. So whomever the god might in fact provide, and whom I will overtake, posin, dative plural, with my feet, dative plural of pous podos. Polloi, and moreover there are many Achaeans for you in Iremen. This is an infinitive, a present infinitive from an iro, to kill. And there are many Achaeans for you to kill, whomever you might be able. This is second person. There was a sigma there which has disappeared from dunamai. So whomever you might be able, understand, to kill. Now the next line we get this actually is a hortatory subjunctive. It's got a short omega here, but short o here. We often find that in Homer. The vowel, although it should be lengthened as a subjunctive, it gets shortened probably for the sake of meter. So it's let us exchange from ep amebo. Let us exchange tukia, our armour, with one another, ophrakai hoidi, so that also they, that is the both sides, benosin, might know, subjunctive, that we boast to be xenoi patroioi, paternal guest friends. So guest friends, long-standing paternal from our fathers, xenoi, guest friends. To just render it, that we boast to be paternal guest friends. Now we get some duals here. So we get a couple of dual participles and then a dual verb here. Hose with the accent like this is thus ara, thus then the two of them spoke, and the two of them darted. This is from aiso, to dart, or just to leap or jump, from their horses, but they're actually on chariots, so we can translate it literally. They darted down from their horses. Dual verb here, aorist dual. The two of them took the hands of one another, so they took each other by the hand. And then, although we had dual here, we actually get a plural here. Pisto Santa in the middle, aorist middle here. They bound themselves with an oath, something like that here for the middle here. They bound themselves to each other with an oath. The oath being that we won't kill each other. Nth outer, and at that point, and this is a little rare example of some quite mild humour in Homer. You don't see a great deal of humour in, especially the Iliad, but occasionally Homer says something that would bring a smile to the face of the listeners. At that point then Zeus ex eleto, this is from ex hierio in the middle, so he took away phrenas, the mind, so it's Zeus son of Kronos, took away the mind for Glaukos, so took away his wits, we'd say. So at that point then Zeus son of Kronos took away Glaukos' wits, and he, Emabe, he exchanged armour with Diomedes, son of Tydeus, Crucia Calcaeon, golden armour in return for bronze armour, and in opposition to both of these, this is Crucia, this is Hecatomboia, this is armour worth 100 oxen, and in the genitive here, matching with the bronze ones, this is armour worth 9 oxen. So he got diddled. So Zeus took away his wits, and he exchanged gold armour worth 100 oxen for bronze armour worth only 9. The swapping of armour in Homer is fairly unusual. In Book 7, Hector and Ajax exchange a sword and a belt, but otherwise it's a fairly rare thing to happen. Hector, when he came to the Scaean gates and the Phaegos, this is the oak tree, and both of these are important landmarks in Homer, especially both of these, the Scaean gates are important, and also the Phaegos, the oak tree. Around him then, the wives of the Trojans and the daughters. Now theon, notice the accent here is nothing to do with gods. This is the imperfect of theo, to run. So the verb is theo, to run. No augment here. So they began running around him, min for auton, Romani, asking about their paidas, their sons, and their brothers, and their kinsmen, and their husbands. But he, Enoge, this is from Enoga, is perfect in form, present, and meaning. So Enoge is, he bid them. So he bid Passas, all of the women, Hexais, each in turn, to pray to the gods at that point. And we get this very, very powerful little, only 4 words here, but very powerful. This is lovely Homer, in fact. There's the verb Hektor, which is it's a pluperfect passive from ephaptomai. So pluperfect passive, and the subject of it, neuter plural singular verb, is kadia, griefs. So griefs were fastened for many, and it's feminine, for many women. In other words, they've asked, what's happened to my brother, what's happened to my kinsman, what's happened to my husband, and he says, well, bad luck, they died. And that's all summarised by this very poignant little sentence here. Griefs were fastened or were laid upon many of them. But when he came to the very beautiful house of Priam, he came to the very beautiful house of Priam, Tetogmenon from Tuco, this is the verb is Tuco, to make Tuco, so constructed with polished corridors, or halls or something, for Ithusa, corridors. And we get a slight break in the grammar here, and so the editor's put a line there. But in it, in Esan, there were in it, this is from Amy, there were in it 50 bedrooms made from polished stone. Dedmemenon, this is from demo, to make, so construct. So they were constructed near to one another. So placion plus a genitive, near to one another. Nth the Depides, and there the sons, priamoia, genitive, of Priam. Now this is the imperfect, it's middle here. They used to sleep, because presumably the sons of Priam are out fighting at the moment, so we could just say were sleeping, or perhaps used to sleep, to get the imperfect there, beside their wedded wives. This is connected with menaamai, to woo. So their wedded wives, this is an adjective. Kurao, now you see the alpha there tells you this is going to be feminine, it's uncontracted genitive. So it's something like in regard to their daughters, so for his daughters, heterothen enantioi, on the other side, opposite, that is opposite to the ones we've just mentioned, inside the ole, inside the courtyard, there were 12, this is from Amy again, there were 12 tegioi thalamoi, roofed, well they better be roofed if they're bedrooms, but roofed bedrooms made of polished stone, dedamenoi, built near one another. And then this really just, these lines just fit exactly the same as what we had here with the obvious changes. So we get, in fact this does again, the almost identical, these lines with these lines, just repeated and made the obvious changes made. So so there, the Gambroi are the sons-in-law of Priam, used to sleep beside their Idoius, their august or respected wives. This is generally the word you use of women who are related to them, and it has the sense of respected, respectful wives. And there, at that point, the mother, who is Apiodoros, this is a word that is only here in Epic. It means gracious giver or bountiful. You see the doron root there. The gentle giver, the gracious giver. So the mother, Eleuthe, this is an Aeolic form for Aelthon. So the mother, who is generous, came opposite to him. Es Agusa, leading in, bringing in Laodike, and she is the literally the best of the daughters, Eidos, in respect to her looks. So she is the most attractive of the daughters. And we get this lovely line here, which is, you'll see many times in Homer. It's a nice filler, and it's a nice way when one person meets another and they're about to speak. This is the line Homer will put in. The N goes with the fuo, this is the verb here. It literally means to grow into. So literally she grew to him with her hand. So she then took him by the hand. There are three bits to this. Took him by the hand, epos tephat, spoke a word, and named him. The ek goes with the onomasto, and we would say called out his name. She called out his name. And we'll stop at that point till the next video.